Do me a favor and send this video to 3 men you love and you want to see them win. Your life changes when you stop reacting on autopilot and when you start responding on purpose. Here's the deal. Every one of us, men in particular, we are taught from a very young age that the things we carry, they shouldn't be things that are seen by other people. Most of us were taught that we're supposed to carry the weight quietly, that we're supposed to be providers despite the lack of resources. We're supposed to perform despite obstacles. We're supposed to protect at all costs, no matter what's at stake. And then somewhere in there, we learn that suppressing every emotion we feel is the right thing to do. And we call that strength. All of us who've ever been through anything, we know that's not real strength. Strength looks like facing the challenges head on and admitting when things get hard. But it's impossible to get help. It's impossible to get the help you need when your posture and your behavior says, I got it. Strength isn't how much you can hold, but it's how well you can choose the right decisions when life begins to push you the other direction. We all have bills. People are faced with deadlines, parenting, strained marriages, health scares, family expectations. Epictetus said it best. It's not what happens to you, it's how you react to it that matters. And today I want to show you how to build a reaction on purpose so you can lead your life instead of your life leading you. When I think about that Epictetus quote, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. What does that look like? Well, it has 3 engines. Perception being the first one. That's the story you tell. Physiology, what your body is doing. And then practice, the repetitions that create reflex. When you change those things, you change your outcomes. So let's go ahead and start with the perception piece. So many men default to reacting when they feel like I'm under attack, or if their story says I'm failing or I'm not enough. Your perception of that one thing allows your story to be hijacked. Then your nervous system begins to speak to you. But let me break this down a little bit further. What you tell yourself about a situation would directly influence the way you respond to it. So what can you do to change it? Well, you can reframe that narrative from the moment that pressure begins to show up, because that's the best thing you can do. Name in that stressor. This is the pressure at work, not I'm drowning in this pain or this debt. Name the value that's under threat. Well, you feel that way because you care about providing. And then name the choice. I can choose patience. I can choose peace right now. When that email comes in, or when your partner has a tone that you don't like, what muscle is that building when you react? Is it building patience, honesty, or is it building boundaries? And so what I'm encouraging you to do is to start paying attention to these small things. Whisper to yourself the story first. Then say it out loud, framing that line. This is training me for patience. This is training me to be a little bit more graceful. Feel how that feels despite saying, why is this happening to me? And then you got the physiology aspect. Calm the body, keep the will. Whenever we're faced with periods of stress, like our body begins to flood with emotion, right? Your heart rate picks up, breathing gets shallow, your vision narrows, but that's biology. But biology doesn't have to be the decision maker in this equation. One deep breath, one long exhale. In through the nose for 4 seconds, out of the mouth for 6. That long exhale is the thing that can help you to start getting closer to safety. The second thing I always tell people is to name it to tame it. Like, you're not that emotion. You're feeling angry, but you're not that emotion. Brene Brown says it best. She says, it's almost like when we get emotionally hijacked, cognition and behavior gets bound and gagged in the trunk and our emotions get the wheel. But what we have to do is we have to learn to make the decisions ahead of time. Most meltdowns are like ambushes, and so we need to plan our responses. If we get that disrespectful text or email, then we need to wait before we respond to it. Maybe ask a question to get some clarity. If your child is ignoring you for the 50th time, maybe it means getting down in front of that 4-year-old and talking to them in a calm voice. If my partner raises their voice at me, then maybe I can lower mine and I can say, I want to be able to understand where you're coming from. So can we slow this down? I know it's difficult, but this is a pre-decision move. Pre-decisions remove the guesswork when our emotions get loud. And then when it's all said and done, when do we go back and review it? In the Marine Corps, we would do after action reviews to be able to take the lessons learned and use them for our benefit, because the win is in learning. And so with this after action, what you can do is you can ask yourself what happened and then just focus on the facts only. What did I feel and what did I do? What did I want to protect that made me act that way? Was it my value? Was it ego? Was it my fears? And then what would the future me do next time? When you write this up and you have this loop, the experience, the reflection, and then upgrade it, this is how resilience compounds. This is how we become better. This is how we start to act in a way that's indicative of the men that we actually want to be. I want you to think of a recent challenge you had, whether this was at work, whether it was at home or something with your health. If you had changed the story in your mind up front, and if you had controlled your breath, what would the outcome have been? Would it have changed? So something I would like for us to think about, I want you to pick one predictable stressor, and I want you to write like a one line, this if-then line, and put it on your lock screen or put it in your notes, and I want you to run it. And every time you do this, it becomes a repetition that leads to greater reflexes. The if-then technique is super simple. It doesn't take much. All I'm asking you to do is to pre-plan what your reactions will be. If this happens, then I will do this. If that happens, then I will do that. If you know this is something that typically comes in and gets you super frustrated, then pre-planning it allows you to choose your response. So many times we react instead of responding. And when we react, we find ourselves regretting the decisions that we've made. And until we start to understand that, we'll continue to make decisions that don't benefit us. This is Elevation Requires Change. And if you want to go up, things have to change. And it starts today. I'll see you on the next one. Let's go.